Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Jackie and welcome to my channel, Leisure Reads. I recently read and picked up a series that has been widely read on BookTube and highly talked about. The person who finally convinced me to pick up this series is Rachel from Rachael Marie Book Junkie, and that series is the Wayward Children Series by Seanan McGuire. So after reading all of the books that have been released so far in the series, I decided to do a series review. With that being said, let's get started. So, if you don't know, the Wayward Children series is a series of books published by Seanan McGuire. It currently consists of 3 books, but it is still growing and the 4th book is set for release in January 2019. The Wayward Children books are all short novels consisting of around 200 pages that tell the story of children who never felt quite at home in the world. These children will find a door and a stairway to a world in which they finally belong. Through some turn of events, some of these children will end up kicked out of the world in which they belong and find themselves back in the world where they don't. Many children, after telling these stories to their family and friends, they are sent off to schools similar to Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. At the school, they are taught to cope with the loss of the world they belong in and to become reacquainted to the world they don't belong to. So instead of doing a small review on each of the books, I decided I was going to do one review of the series and quickly give a brief review and some thoughts I had on each of the individual books. The first book in the series is Every Car Has a Doorway. This book follows our main character Nancy, who was kicked out of her world, the halls of the dead, and found herself sent to Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children. Nancy wears only the muted colors black and white, and although young, her hair is completely white, save for 5 strands that are her natural jet black hair color. After the Lord of the Dead stroked her hair and called it beautiful, all of her hair, except for where he had touched, out of jealousy turned stark white. This book introduces a great cast of characters and allows for an overall understanding of the structure and organization of the world. We follow Nancy and her friends around the school, and we start to understand the emotions and the struggles that the students are facing after experiencing such a great loss. I gave this book 3 out of 5 stars because although I really enjoyed this book and I'm really intrigued by the world Seanan McGuire has created, I did get a little lost in the middle of the book when a mystery and suspense section was kind of brought into it. I didn't really think it was necessary for the book, and it didn't really make a ton of sense to me. My biggest problems with this section were, one, that it came out of completely nowhere. We were just kind of going along, learning about her friends and what worlds they visited, seeing how the structure of the school was set up, and then out of nowhere this mystery suspense section was just kind of dropped in on us. My second problem was that I don't think this part of the story was really given time to develop. With it being such a short book, we were a little short on time, and I felt like I personally didn't really have enough experience with these characters and with the structure of the school and everything to really have any type of emotion with the mystery and suspense part that was brought into it. I just kind of felt myself a little indifferent towards it, everything that was going on. And finally, the explanation of what was going on in the school and the final big reveal at the end didn't really make sense to me. It may have made sense to other people, but to me, I just kind of felt like it was out of left field and kind of just slapped together at the end of it. I couldn't really process it personally. It just didn't make a bunch of sense to me. However, I did really enjoy the book and the world otherwise, so I did keep reading this series. The second book in the series is Down Among the Sticks and Bones. This is 100% my absolute favorite book so far in this series. I am in love with this book. Down Among the Sticks and Bones tells the story of Jack and Jill, 2 twin girls who could not have been raised to be more opposite than they are. Jack, or Jacqueline, was raised to be the pretty princess, to be dressed in the prettiest gown and stood in the corner, to be seen and not heard. Jill was the complete opposite. She was raised to be rugged, tough, to play sports, and to win. One day, while playing in the attic, a forbidden activity for Jack and Jill, They find a stairway in the bottom of an old trunk that, when taken, transports them to a world known as the Moors, a place where vampires, werewolves, and mad scientists all exist, and the girls find a place where they truly belong. As I said, this is my absolute favorite book so far in the series. I really love the story of Jack and Jill. It's a creepy, suspenseful world where the girls finally get to choose who they want to be. I personally love Jack, not only because it's nice to see a character named Jacqueline, but because her thirst for knowledge is so pure and she seems to have a very good head on her shoulders. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars because I loved it, and it touches on the importance of not forcing people into the box of what you think they should be, but allowing them to figure out who they are as a person. I honestly can say that I don't think I would change anything in this book. I think Jack and Jill develop the entire way through the book, and importantly, their actions seem to be in line with who they are. Absolutely, hands down, my favorite book so far in this series. The third book in this series is Beneath the Sugar Sky. This book takes place mostly in the world of confection and follows a group of kids from Eleanor West's Home for Wayward Children who are on a quest across the worlds to help a friend in need. I can't say too much about this plot without spoiling the other books for you, but I can say that I loved this book. I think the imagery in it was fantastic. The world of confection, while nonsensical and hard to process for someone who is logical, was written so well and is so interesting. And I really loved the inclusion of how the world of confection was built. I think that was just a really interesting add-on to this book and really helped me understand the world of confection a little bit more. So this is another book I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I loved Beneath the Sugar Sky. I think the imagery in this book was so fantastic. It was very powerful, and the world of confection, while nonsensical and hard to process for somebody who is very logical, was so well written and fascinating. And I really loved the inclusion of the stories of bakers, who are the people who actually built the world of confection. I think it was just really interesting to find out that side of it and learn a little bit more about the world of confection and how it was created. This is actually another book that I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I couldn't find anything I would do differently in this book, and I devoured it. It is a fun book where you go on a quest with a group of friends to magical lands where they have candy corn farmers. Seriously, what is not to love? Overall, I absolutely loved the Wayward Children series. It is such a fascinating, well-crafted concept for a world with a great cast of characters that, may we all hope, eventually gets their own story. Specifically for me, I really want to hear more about Cade and Christopher and their worlds. They are just so fascinating and interesting to me. Specifically Christopher, I am just hoping and praying that Seanan McGuire will come out with a book all about Christopher's experience in Mariposa. If you have not read these books, please go pick them up. Buy it, borrow it, get it from the library like I did. Look it up on ebook or audiobook. Just please, read it. McGuire not only tells a fun, escapist story, she also touches on important issues like love, loss, grief, friendship, and the importance of finding out who you are as a person. I highly recommend these books for anyone. Young, old, in between. I think there is something for everyone in these books, and you are sure to be thinking about them long after you close them. And personally, I will be sitting on the edge of my seat until January 2019, when they release the newest book in the series, called In an Absent Dream. That's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to follow me on Instagram, Goodreads, and Twitter. The links are in the description below. I hope to see you guys again soon, and in the meantime, make it a great day. Bye!